You are wretched.
No, we are rich.
Miserable.
Not only are you wretched, you are miserable.
Poor.
Poor.
Blind.
Blind.
And naked.
Now this is Jesus. This is sweet Jesus. This is the lowly Jesus. This is the Jesus that loved people so much when he saw them with fever, he healed them.
Right.
This is sweet Jesus. Now you need to understand, this ain't the little lamb in the manger.
That's right. Yes, sir.
This is not the lamb slain before the foundation of the world. This is the Lord of the church.
Yes, sir.
I don't need no harm. Jesus is still walking through the church, assessing where each and every one of us is in our Christian walk.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, we don't like to be told the truth. We like to hear sweet things. Jesus says you're wretched. You're miserable. You're blind. You're poor. And you listen, it's one thing to be poor. But blind and poor. It's one thing to be blind and poor. So that means that they are blind. They can't see. So they are poor and naked and can't do nothing about it because they can't. All right, let me.
Now take your time.
What's your point? It's significant that Jesus uses these things. I want to answer 3 questions tonight, and I'm going. I became interested in this because Jesus is talking to the church.
Yes, sir.
This is the last word
Yes, sir.
of the 7 churches. This is Jesus' observation.
Yes, sir.
So I became interested.
Last word.
Jesus says, get hot, get cold, or get out. Is that not what he says? So you know I'm not making this stuff up. Watch this. He says, get hot, get cold, or get out. I begin to ask, why would Jesus put me out? Second question. I don't only want to know why he would put me out, but I need to know who he will put out. And not only do I need to know why and who, I need to know when. So, y'all got time to hear this? First of all, why would Jesus put me out in the first place? I'll tell you what. Here it is. Because you're nice, God. No cold. Can I put a window here so you can see what I'm talking about? Jesus uses a geographical phenomenon to explain a theological condition.
Yes, sir.
You remember this is a book full of what? Signs. So Jesus takes something that they know so he can teach them some things they don't know or some things they need to know. Here's the geographical situation. Laodicea sat on a mountain, and it sat between 2 critical cities.
Yes.
In the east was Colossae.
Yes.
You remember the book of Colossians?
Yes.
Paul was writing to Colossae. Let me hear you say Colossae. Okay, that was in the east. But in the west was the city of Hierapolis.
Yes, Lord.
Hierapolis. Let me hear you say Hierapolis.
Yes, sir.
Colossae in the east, Hierapolis in the west. Now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Colossae had cold, refreshing Cold, refreshing springs were in Colossae. In the west were the hot springs of Hierapolis.
Yes, sir.
Y'all not getting it.
I got it.
Because their water supply was bad. They had to get their water from Colossae and from Hierapolis.
Come on. I'm with you.
Y'all got time to hear this?
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
All right, y'all smile at me when I'm talking to you. So what we got here? We got cold water where? In Colossae. Hot springs where? Now, when people wanted to be refreshed
Well,
from the heat of activity,
come on now.
they would go to the cold waters of Colossae.
Yes, sir.
But if they were sick and needed healing,
Well,
they would come to the hot spring
watch out.
of Hierapolis.
I got you.
Y'all not getting it. So their water supply came from Hierapolis and Colossae.
Yes, sir.
But watch what happens. By the time the cold waters of Colossae got to Laodicea and the hot water from Hierapolis got to Laodicea, the cold water mixed in with the hot water, and instead of it being cold or hot, it became lukewarm.
Yes, sir. Come on, come on. That's plain, Doc. That's plain.
So Jesus says, you adjust like your water supply. You're neither hot nor cold. And because you're neither hot nor cold, you're lukewarm. And because of that, I'm going to spit you, I'm going to vomit you, I'm going to puke you out of my mouth.
Yes, sir.
All right. You. Come on.
One of the things that I said, you know, I thought God always wanted a hot church. Somebody that's on fire.
Come on. Come on.
But he didn't say that. He said, you can be cold. You can be cold. Matter of fact, I would rather for you to be cold or hot. So what are you saying, Jesus? I want my people to be cold and refreshing,
Yes.
like the waters of Colossae. So when people are beat down with the burdens of the day,
Yes, sir.
they can come in my house and be refreshed.
Yes, sir.
My yoke is easy, and my burdens are light. Come unto me, all you labor and heavy laden, and I will.
Give you rest. My Lord.
Or when people are hurting and they're diseased,
Yes,
they
sir.
are diseased.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When
Break it
they are
down now.
diseased, when they are diseased,
Yes, sir.
they can come to my house and get healed.
Come on,
I
preacher.
wonder what kind of church this church.
Lord of mercy.
Are you cold and refreshing like the waters of Colossae?
Have mercy.
Or do you have the healing properties of the waters of Hierapolis?
My Lord.
That's the question.
Or possibly
Lord. Mercy.
you can be living,
Have mercy.
making divinity sick.
Have mercy. That's the plain.
Well, what do you know?
Why would he put us out? Because you're neither hot nor cold.
What it says?
Have mercy.
Who does he put out?
Well,
Mark chapter 5. Jesus just didn't start putting people out. Look at verse 35. Luke 5:35. Luke 5. That's it, Luke. No, Mark 5. I'm sorry. Mark 5. Mark 5:35. Now, we already know why he'll put us out.
Right.
Why would he put you out? Because you're these are hot to go.
Right.
Now we want to know who he'll put out. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Verse 35. While he yet spake, read, brother.
There came from the
There came from the ruler
of the synagogue certain which said, Thy daughter is
Thy
dead.
daughter is dead.
Why troublest thou
Why troublest thou
the master
the
any
master
further?
any further? Read.
As soon as Jesus
As
heard
soon as Jesus heard
the word that was
the
spoken,
word that was spoken,
he said unto the
he said unto the
ruler
ruler
of the synagogue, Be not afraid,
Be not afraid.
only believe.
Only believe.
And he suffered
And
no
he
man
suffered no man
to follow
to
him,
follow him,
save Peter and James and John, the brother of James.
Read.
And he cometh
And he cometh
to the house
of the
ruler of the synagogue, seeth the turmoil,
turmoil,
that wept,
and them that wept,
and wailed
and wailed greatly.
greatly. And when
And when
he was come in,
come in,
he said unto them,
them,
Why make ye
Why
this
make you
ado?
such an ado?
And we, damsel,
The damsel
is not
is
dead,
not dead,
but sleeping.
but sleeping. Read.
And they laughed him to
And they
scorn.
laughed him to scorn.
But when
But
he
when
had put them all
he had put them all out, look what Jesus did. He put them
out. All out.
Yes, sir. Come on, preacher.
What's your point? There are certain kind of people in here that when God's getting ready to do something great and miraculous, you can't come in. He'll put you out.
Right. Yeah.
Listen. I'm getting ready to close. I'm getting ready to close.
Wow.
But listen. I may not come back here again, but one thing I know, I'm here now.
Right.
And I'm going to tell it all.
That's all right. That's all right.
This church is on the verge
Yes, sir.
of doing the miraculous.
Yes, sir.
God has you here for a purpose.
Yes, sir. Take your
And
time.
God is bringing in here those that he needs here
Yes,
to
sir.
get his purpose done.
Yes, sir.
You're on the edge. You're
Yes,
on
sir.
the verge of doing the miraculous.
Come on.
Making a difference in Brooklyn. But it's only a handful of us. Look at all these other churches. Don't you understand that 100 with God is like 1,000,000? Don't you know that one with God is like 1,000? This church is going to do something big and miraculous. But everybody ain't going to be able to come in.
Right.
Because there's some folk that Jesus, not the preacher, not the brother, not the sister, but Jesus is going to put out.
Yes, sir.
Because he can't have them around to do the miraculous. I know you don't like it, but I'll say it again. before I say it.
Preach. Yes, sir.
Who will Jesus put out before he does the miraculous? First one. First one that Jesus puts out, Brother Johnson, is those with loose lips.
Yes, sir.
You got loose lips, Jesus will put you out.
Yes, he will.
Isn't it amazing how people can talk about things they don't know nothing about?
Yes, sir.
Anybody here ever had somebody talk about you?
Yeah.
Man, I had folks talk about me. Say, I saw Brother Florence coming out the tavern. What Brother Florence look like? He's a tall man. Thin, light-skinned. That ain't even me. Let me show you something. Not only will loose lips sink ships, loose lips destroys lives. If you want to detour, if you want to destroy, if you want to become desolate, Brother Smith,
Have mercy.
have loose lips around.
Yes, sir.
Where did you get that loose lips from? From the man who came and told the ruler of the synagogue, ain't no need of going now, she's dead now.
See there?
Now wait a minute, do you see anywhere in the text where anybody sent for him? Do you see anywhere in the text where he was assigned to this?
Lord have
If he was, wait a minute, he wasn't assigned, he had no authority, I don't see where he was asked, so he only assumed,
watch out.
that it was no need for Jesus to come now because she was already dead.
Assume.
Loose lips.
Yes, sir.
Loose lips.
My Lord.
First person that Jesus puts out is what? Stay with me now.
Okay.
All right.
Loose lips. You got loose lips? You ain't coming. Jesus is going to put you out. All right. Okay? After loose lips. After loose lips. After loose lips. Now, I know that whatever Jesus says, do you see anywhere where Jesus commended this man for this announcement? Well, then I'm saved to assume that if Jesus didn't commend him, Jesus is really condemning him. Why? Because his message didn't produce faith.
Yes, sir.
Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. This man didn't have any faith, so therefore his message didn't please God. Matter of fact, it didn't produce faith, it produced fear. And fear and faith came into the same house. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Either you got faith or you're full of fear.
Have mercy.
Am I right about it? So listen what Jesus tells him. He tells him in verse 36, he says, as soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he says unto the ruler of the synagogue, don't be afraid.
Lord Jesus.
What he says.
Only beware of loose lips. The second person that you beware of, because Jesus is going to put them out, is anybody. Here it is. Write it down. I'm going to go through these real quick. Anybody that puts a deadline on divinity.
My Lord.
Anybody that puts a deadline on divinity needs to be put out. Well, Brother Will said, we need a new building around here. They were just getting tight. We got two standards and everything. Seems like to me we all can meet together, everything, but I know you need some money so we can just sit down and relax right here where we at. We're doing a good job right here. Because I don't believe that we can raise the kind of money that we need to get us a new building. Let me tell you something. A person start talking like that, you get away from them because they're putting a deadline on divinity.
Yes, sir.
Don't you know that when it's impossible for man, that's an invitation to God?
Yes, sir.
There will be no divine intervention first without human invitation.
Yes, sir.
How do you know I'm right about
Yes,
that?
sir.
Even when Jesus was in the storm, on the boat he was in, he didn't even stop the wind from blowing until they asked Jesus, do you care if we live or not?
Have mercy. Have mercy, doctor.
Anybody that puts a deadline, don't you know, but Brother Florence, you don't know where I came from.
Well,
You don't know the life I live. I can't do anything with my life. Honey, I'm here to tell you today, I don't care how low you sunk.
yes, sir.
I don't care if you can fall an inch beneath the curve, which is in the gutter. I stopped by tonight to tell you that
Yes,
Jesus is willing to even get his hands dirty and reach down in the stinky stuff that gets you. I'm here today to tell you, you serve a God who is able. And he'll pick you up right where you are.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, he will.
First person we need to look out for is those with what? Loose lips.
Surely.
The second one is the ones who put a deadline on what?
Divinity.
How do you know there's a deadline on divinity? Because this man said it's no use. She's already what? All right, the third one is this. Third one is this. Anybody that you start seeing weeping and wailing, always crying about everything, can't satisfy him with nothing. Always crying, weeping and wailing. You see? All right.
Yes, sir.
Look at verse 38. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue and seeth the what? You know what a tumult is? Mass confusion. Mass confusion. Hysteria. Out of control. All right, let me put them together so you can see what I'm talking about. Brother Smith will be flying out of here Saturday. You came in on what airline?
U.S. Airways.
U.S. Airways. You get pulled on U.S. Airways, get in your seat, buckle your seatbelt, preparing for the flight. Flight taxis on the runway, takes off beautifully. 10,000 feet, 6,000 feet, 12,000 feet, 14,000 feet. Levels off.
Yes, sir.
Brother Smith, here's the announcement. You can now take your seatbelts off. Brother Smith takes his seatbelt off. And while flying, the light comes back on. Because turbulence
Have mercy. Be careful now.
is in the air. So the light comes back on. Buckle you up. Then all of a sudden, you hear from the cockpit. How many of you would want to fly that airline again? If the pilot
Lord have mercy.
Yes, sir.
brothers and sisters, nothing of significance can be done
Lord have mercy.
when there's chaos and confusion. Tumult, mass confusion. Where people are always weeping and wailing, always complaining. Let me tell you something. When you start competing with other folk
Yes, sir.
and comparing yourself to other folk, it ain't going to be long before you start complaining.
Yes, sir. That's a law.
You see, when you start competing,
And compare.
and listen, you know what? When I was small, my daddy gave me $1 for my what do you call it? Allowance. Now, and I was just as happy with that dollar. Matter of fact, I was proud of that dollar. I ran out, told my friend, my daddy gives me $1 a week for allowance. Now, $1 back then was $1.
Right.
Amen. It was $1. Now, you know what would happen? I went out, told my friend, got $1. I was satisfied until I started comparing.
Right.
And I ended up competing. And y'all know what I did. Start complaining.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend down the street that got $2.
My Lord.
And let me tell you something. Whatever God blesses somebody else with, you don't have to complain about it. You don't have to get upset about it. Because the same God that blessed them is able to bless you.
That's right. That's
So I don't get upset when my members start driving brand new Cadillacs. I thank God that they're able to drive Cadillacs.
Yes, Lord.
One of them just got a coupe, BMW, black, all black.
My Lord.
I don't get excited because I'm driving, something that I got a little something. I don't get upset about that because you know what? Detroit ain't stopped making cars.
Right.
And the same God that bless you
Yes,
is able to bless me.
I know
All right,
that.
here it is. First one is what? Loose lips.
yes, Lord.
Second one is what?
With a deadline.
Deadline on divinity. And what's the third?
Weeping and
People are always weeping and wailing, competing, complaining, and comparing. All right. Last one.
have mercy.
Anybody that laughs at the Lord.
Now.
I'm gonna close on this one. If you find somebody who laughs at the Lord, you get out of there.
Come on.
What did David say
My Lord.
in Psalms 1 and 1? Blessed is the man
Yes, sir.
that what?
Walk.
Walk in the counsel of the ungodly. You know what the counsel of the ungodly is? Anybody, wake up and write this down. Anybody that leaves God out of their thinking. Ungodly counsel is any counsel that leaves God out of their thinking.
That's it.
When you receive counsel from people who leave God out of their thinking, you are receiving ungodly counsel.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes,
He says not only that, but he goes on to say not only walk in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standing in the way of sinners. Those who stand. Here, the Holy Spirit reveals that anybody that uses the world's standard as their standard and gets their satisfaction from the same source that the world does, you are. Not only that, standing in the way of sinners, but you also talks about those who sit in the seat of the scornful.
Yeah.
You know what a scornful person is? Somebody who makes light of, someone who makes fun of.
Right.
And everybody makes fun of holy things when they leave God out of their way.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And when they receive the same satisfaction from the word as the world receives from the word.
Have mercy.
That's good talking.
Be careful.
Good talking.
God wants you hot or cold or hitting it up. But isn't it wonderful to know that Jesus loved us so much that God, through Christ, provided a way of escape? Can anybody tell me what color is sin? I used to think that. I said, oh, sin doesn't have any color. Is it white? No. Is it black? No. Sin is red. Where did you get that from? Isaiah 1,
Yes, sir.
verse 18. He says, though your sin
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's the book.
be as scarlet.
Yeah.
Yes.
What color is scarlet?
Yeah.
But thanks be to God
Come on now.
that Jesus died on Calvary,
Now.
shed his red blood on Calvary, and he takes my red sins and dipped them in his red blood, and nobody can see my red sins because it's covered by the red blood of Jesus. Isn't that wonderful?
Lordy.
You hear tonight?
Well.
God wants you hot or cold.
Yeah.
It's too late in the evening to be playing church.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
God is calling for people who are totally committed to his will, his word, and his way.
Yes, sir.
When you come tonight, you've heard enough preaching tonight
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
to want to do what's right.
Yes, sir.
If you're here tonight and you're not a child of God, I'm under warranty to tell you. There's only one way to God, and that's through Jesus Christ. And the things that we call the 5 principles, they are really not the way of salvation, a plan of salvation per se. I believe that they are our response to the plan, because the plan was wrapped up in a man called Jesus.
Yes, sir.
Am I right about that?
Yeah.
And how do we respond to the man? By hearing what he says, believing what he says, repenting as a result of what he says, confessing what he says, agreeing with what he says, and obeying what he says. Will you come? Will you come by faith?
Yes.
Because Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. Will you come? Who knows? This may be the last night
Yes, Lord.
that you'll ever have a chance to be obedient to the will of God. As we together stand, will you come?